All right, so these application problems are dealing with quadratic models that model falling objects. So in this first equation, or this first example, we're modeling the distance, the height of a diver above the water in feet, that's the h, t seconds after diving. So the equation, the model, was quadratic. And the question that we're asking is, how long does the dive last? Well, the dive lasts until the diver hits the water. So the diver hits the water when h is equal to 0. So the height above water is 0. So what we want to do is solve our model. H is 0 equals negative 16 t squared plus 64. So this is quadratic, so we will factor. We'll try and factor a greatest common factor of negative 16 out. I'd leave t squared minus 4. And then continuing to factor, we get negative 16. This is a difference of squares, t plus 2 times t minus 2. So the zero factor property says to take these variable factors, t plus 2, and set it equal to 0, or t minus 2 equaling 0. So when we solve these, we get t equals negative 2, or t equals positive 2, just adding 2 to both sides. So our answer is looking for a time. So t equaling negative 2 does not apply to this. We have a negative time. But t equal to 2 does. So therefore, how long does the dive last? So the dive lasts 2 seconds. Time was in terms of seconds. All right, our next application is dealing with the height of an arrow. And again, the model has given us the height of the arrow, t seconds after being shot. So it says, after how many seconds will the arrow hit the ground? So it's going to hit the ground when h is equal to 0 again. So we basically just need to solve our model when h is 0. So that's negative 16 t squared plus 77t plus 15. And again, we do want to solve this by factoring. Since it starts with a negative, I will factor out a negative 1, and I'll be left with 16 t squared minus 77t minus 15, and that's going to equal 0. So this is not a very good factor or a very fun factorization, I guess, but it does factor to 16 t plus 3 times t minus 5. So setting each of the variable factors equal to 0, we get 16t plus 3 equals 0, or t minus 5 equals 0. So again, just solving, you notice the factor on the left, we're getting 16t equals negative 3, or t equals negative 3 over 16. Or adding 5 to both sides here, we get t equals 5. And again, we're looking for how many seconds in time. So time cannot be negative, it does not apply to this, so t equal to 5. How many seconds where the arrow hit the ground? So our answer, the arrow hits the ground at 5 seconds.